So the Ukrainian government has decided to ban 11 opposition parties. The country's National Security and Defence Council took the decision to ban the parties from any political activity. Most of the parties affected were small, but one of them, the Opposition Platform for Life, has 44 seats in the 450-seat Ukrainian parliament. So they're literally banning a political party that has political representation in the country. Now, it's worth note that most of these parties are centre-left, some of them are anti-war, some of them are socialist parties, but Svoboda, which is a nationalist right-wing party, hasn't been banned. Now, it's a really strange tactic that he would do this because Putin's pretext for the invasion of Ukraine was to defeat the rise of neo-Nazis in Kyiv. So, in a way, this gives credit to Putin's completely wrong and bullshit argument because you're banning opposition parties, yet, and these are largely anti-war parties, that you're keeping ultra-right, probably neo-Nazi right-wing parties. It's kind of convenient for Putin to then use that as an argument to strengthen his reason for invading Ukraine. It might drum up support in Russia. Now, I'm really worried about the whole narrative surrounding Zelensky. Throughout the whole invasion, he has been seen as a hero. Now, this is fundamentally a very dangerous thing. Of course, there are many things he's done right. There are many things that other leaders have done right, and we stand with Ukraine against Russian aggression. But idolizing someone as a hero, and I'll go into why exactly, is really dangerous. Essentially, if you label a political leader as such, it makes Zelensky untouchable, unaccountable. And I think that's exactly what's happening because the banning of 11 political parties is essentially being a dictatorship. This isn't a small issue. This is huge. This is silencing dissent, silencing other voices, especially from the anti-war perspective. It's really, really worrying. Zelensky has been calling for a no-fly zone. He wants the West to intervene. This policy is absolutely nuts because it can escalate war and it can escalate us to World War III. In the mainstream commentary, I don't feel like that we've had much criticisms of Zelensky because he's been propped up as this hero. Now, I don't think they've been doing it on purpose, but I think people have been getting wrapped up into this characterization of a man who simply is just a political leader who has clearly made lots of mistakes and is now imposing some very, very destructive and authoritarian policies. Aside from banning opposition parties, Zelensky has now also signed a decree to capture the media. In an address to his nation delivered Sunday, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky announced an order combining all national TV channels, the programme content of which consists mainly of information or information analytical programmes, a single information platform of strategic communication to be called United News. The emergency actions were taken under rules for martial law. Zelensky claimed he was trying to institute a unified information policy. Now, can you remember back to when Trump was president and you heard the term alternative facts? What was alternative facts? They were just false claims. It was a really clever trick that Trump did. Now, most people didn't fall for it, but some did. There's only truth and there's only falsities. So alternative facts was just falsities. This to me seems like it's been taken out of the Trump playbook, using the term unified information. Now, the term unified information sounds kind of uncontroversial, but when you break it down, then you can see how sinister it really is. Unified information is quite literally doublespeak for we're silencing dissent. We're silencing any voices. The government, me, Zelensky, will control the narrative and control it alone. The message we put out will be directly from the government and you cannot question it. A fundamental tenet of a liberal democracy is a diverse, vibrant media. Banning opposition parties and taking control of the mainstream media, where it's just quite literally one voice from the government, To me, that kind of ceases to be a democracy. This is essentially becoming a dictatorship. Look, dissent is always important, but especially during times of war. If you silence different voices, if you silence criticism and accountability, it just means that the decisions that are made will be even more disastrous. Now, during war, during a crisis, a lot of bad decisions are made. But if there is that accountability there, if there is that diverse voice of criticism of those in power, you could potentially stop a catastrophic decision being made that will affect human life. Zelensky has made some poor decisions over the course of the invasion, one of them being forcing men to fight in this war. Ripping Ukrainian men from their families, stopping them from escaping, is a horrific policy, and it goes against fundamental human rights. Now, everything I'm saying about Zelensky, everything I'm saying about the Ukrainian government policy, in no way excuses what Vladimir Putin is doing. It goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway, because people are probably going to mischaracterize what I say, misrepresent my criticisms. But Putin is the bad guy. He is a right-wing, very right-wing autocrat. I'm not equivocating here. Just because I'm saying this guy, Zelensky, he's not some hero that we should hold up, which makes him untouchable, free of criticisms. That doesn't then mean, oh my God, Putin's this great guy. And I know people, especially the mainstream media, don't like nuance. They don't like grey area. They like good guys and bad guys. You know, you criticize the West. Well, you're just a Russian apologist. Like, these aren't serious people. That's why we don't listen to the centrist hacks and the liberal media. But as I said before, if I see something wrong, I'm going to call out the bullshit. And I'm going to call out the bullshit no matter where it comes from.